So today we're joined by Sustainability Director Simon Evans at the Pie Factory, who'll be talking about his new product, Tim, about the event today and the Indies in general. You just did a talk there. Speak to me a little bit about what you spoke about, some ideas that you shared with the panelists.
Yeah, I mean, we're all about sustainability in events, as I'm sure you know. And our new product, Tim, is what we kind of wanted to. We've launched it recently, so we wanted to kind of speak to people about that. It's really based for exhibitors exhibiting at trade shows. It's a very specific bit of kit, but it's a very broad amount of people that it applies to. So yeah, it was really about introducing that today and having a engaging discussion with kind of organizers, people who run events, also kind of Simon, obviously, the presenter, works with a number of different hats. So we were able to cover a lot of different subjects. It was really good fun.
And then on Tim, for someone who has absolutely no idea what it is, and even someone who might not be in the event space and doesn't understand, can you just explain what it is and what it's trying to achieve?
Yeah, no, that's probably quite a good place to start, isn't it? Yeah, so it stands for Trade Show Impact Manager. We love an acronym at Pie Factory, Positive Impact Experiences, if anyone was worried. And Tim basically is a sustainability management software for people who exhibit. So it looks at both environment, so your carbon footprint, your materials, your supply chain from an environmental perspective, what certifications they've got. It also looks at the social side of things. So, for example, accessibility on the stand, but then deep into your supply chain, what suppliers you're using, what are their working conditions, all that side of things. And then the governance side of it really is covered by using Tim in the first place. So governance is around having processes to manage environmental and social impact, which Tim helps you do. It also then has accountability because you're assigning accountability to it as a business. And then the final one, transparency, because it gives you a report that you can then share with your stakeholders, show how well you're doing, show how badly you're doing, show how you're improving. So it's giving busy event managers, which don't have time to become sustainability experts, don't have time to collect a load of data. We do all that for you, give you the report at the end, and then you can quickly go, right, okay, here's where I can do better. Here's where I'm not doing great. Here's where I'm at risk with my business, for example, in my supply chain. So that's kind of the gap in the market we saw, and we're getting a lot of positive feedback from it being out on the market.
And you kind of touched on it a little bit there, but why did you feel, it's particularly with the actual product launch, why was now sort of the right time to introduce this product? Obviously, it probably, you can go way back and always need it, but why wasn't you felt, okay, now's the time to do this?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. But we originally, we've been doing this for years as Pie Factory, but it's me and my team and a load of really complicated spreadsheets, which CMOs, event managers don't particularly love spreadsheets. It's not something you want to chuck out into the press and talk about. So we've always managed this for the clients we have, but we're now getting more and more people from outside saying we want to be able to manage this, but we want to do it in a nice, presentable, easy way. And that's why we turned all of those spreadsheets into Tim. So you can now, if you're an event manager, just log into your system, see how you're doing. It's all lovely and nicely presented, and it's got all the KPIs that you need to be able to say, right, very quickly, I can see my carbon footprint per square meter has gone up this year, for example. It's there because our clients are asking for it, and people outside of our client base are asking for it as well. And there's kind of nothing on the market that does exactly the same. There's some good tools out there, but they tend to be based at the event industry. We don't care as much about the event industry, and neither do our clients. This is built for big brands with big stands and small brands with small stands who exhibit. So it's not the industry, it's not the venue, because people who exhibit don't particularly care that the XL have got a worm farm on their roof that eats their old burgers, right? Whether you believe that or not anyway, doesn't matter to someone who's exhibiting at the XL. They don't get to choose where that conference is. What they do get to choose and manage, and they care about, is that 5x5 that they've got there and what they're building and who builds it. So that's kind of, there's a place in the market for it, which is why we decided to launch it.
And you touched on it a lot there, but I kind of want to see if you elaborate in terms of what makes it really unique compared to other maybe similar products, or just sustainability initiative and sustainability products in the market and the events market. Not even just in the events market, to be fair, just a general sustainability market as well.
Yeah, it's got a few USPs, as you would say. I mean, firstly, it's backed by sustainability professionals led by myself. There's not really anything else on the market in the events world that particularly has that. Secondly, we do all the work for you. We noticed that tools out there kind of require you to go through training as an event manager and you to collect the data to some degree. There's a load of awesome tools out there, and they all have a different kind of niche. But we do that work for you, which event managers really appreciate. And then finally, it looks at environment, social, and governance, which nothing else out there really does all three. There's some really cool environmental ones. There's some really cool ones aimed at stand builders, but there's nothing aimed at the brands that does all three of those, that does the work for you, that's kind of got the authority of sustainability professionals behind it. So that's kind of where we are USP-wise.
And then what's the sort of response been since you've launched him from the industry, from suppliers, stand builders, exhibitors, etc.? How have they responded to it? Has it been a case of you reaching out, or do they come to you and be like, oh, actually, we're keen for this?
Yeah, well, the industry is just kind of learning about it this week, really. Yeah. And we've been building it a lot in the background. Our clients are loving it. We've got kind of early adopters of it are big brands like CBRE, the world's largest real estate brand. They are using it across, I think, 9 or 10 North American shows this year, number of their European shows as well. We went round a show the other week in Munich, and kind of Dolby signed up, Knight Frank signed up, JLL signed up. You know, with people, it's an open door to push out. When we go and speak to people, they're like, yeah, brilliant. Where do we sign? How do we get involved? So the people we speak to, we're getting the feedback we expected. The industry, we're about to find out. But I think positive. I think obviously we're at an Indy organizer event, so we're chatting to an organization crowd here. And whilst it's not a tool for organizers, it could be really useful for them to say, give to their exhibitors and say, look, this is something we promote. So we're always open to collaboration. So we're hoping the industry comes to us and wants to work with us.
And then would you say your key role as well is educating? Would you agree with that? And can you kind of expand? What do you say to people to educate them, and how important do you value that education compared to just the general product and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's a huge part of it. It's a huge part of it, because if you don't understand kind of the report you're being given, then it's quite difficult to act on. And that's why we make it as simple as possible. Lots of complex data goes into it. Lots of complex analysis happens. But what comes out the other end is a really kind of simple report showing this is how you do better. So it's kind of baby steps education, but then, you know, also we're not a charity. So off the back of it, if a particular brand who'd got the report said, we want to go deeper into this, we want to learn more, they can obviously hire me and my team at a day rate to kind of talk about that kind of thing. We can do workshops, sessions, seminars. It depends on how progressive they are as a brand and where they want to get to. If they want to use it as a leadership or a differentiator, then we've had people come to us in the past and say, we want to do a 2-3 day workshop with all of our senior team on sustainable events off the back of this sort of stuff. So it depends on the brand and the client, but education, we're always delighted when people want to learn. And I think just using Tim, clients will learn just through osmosis, as it were.
And then my next question is going to sound simple, but I think it's quite the opposite. And it's quite a basic question. I think you're a good person for me to ask. What does sustainability actually mean? Because it's not just lowering your carbon footprint and stuff. It's quite a holistic word that incorporates a lot of things. So what I know it's a very forthright question, but what does it mean? Like,
it's a massive. Yeah. When I get pubs a lot when I say I work in sustainability, I say, what does that mean? I say, oh shit, how do I answer this? It's kind of, if you want to drill it down to the really simple bits, from an organizational point of view, it's how do you measure your environmental and social impact and then manage that, right? Which you could talk about this for hours, but it's first understanding where your environmental impacts are. That could be in carbon, it could be in energy, could be in waste, could be in all of those things. Also social, which is really important to remember. It's the pillar of sustainability that often gets left behind. Certainly in America, people think sustainability means environment. It doesn't. It means social as well. And it's also about keeping a business going. You have to be profitable at the same time. So it's all three pillars of environment, social, and the monetary side of it as well. If you're not managing sustainability risk, you will get caught out as a business. You won't get invested in. You stand the chance of having some pretty bad slip-ups. You're not kind of able to manage supply chain shocks if it comes to climate change in one of your raw materials, for example. So again, I could talk about this for days. But really, in the simplest form, it's about understanding your environmental and social impacts. Once you know what they are and how much impact you're having processes in place to manage that, which kind of falls under the governance side.
And then my final question, we'll go back to Tim and then try and look ahead. What's your vision for it? What in 5, 10 years' time, where do you want it to be positioned in the market? How do you want it to be responded?
We want as many people as possible to be using it because it's still in the early days. It will continue to develop. We're creating new features to it all the time. So the more people that use it, the more people that get excited about it. It scales, more people use it. We want it to become kind of de facto that people use it, everybody buys in. It could potentially become independent in the future. These are all kind of where we think it could go. And the initial feedback from 6 to 9 months, well, we've been developing it longer than that, but 6 to 9 months of working with clients on it, we're getting really good results. So yeah, basically getting it at scale because it applies globally as well. We're UK based, but you can run an event in Las Vegas through Tim. Doesn't make any difference. It's still going to give you the same results. It's still going to help you as a business. So yeah, more people using it is ultimately where we want to get to.
Perfect. Thanks, Simon. Right, a good way to end. Cheers. I appreciate your time.